What's up, Rockstars? Today is a huge day. We are talking about how Kickstarter, GameFound, crowdfunding, and Boardgame is on fire right now, and it's just going to get worse. The end of the year is always crazy, and there's some huge announcements I'm making today, so let's dive into some super cool games. Thank you to my channel sponsor Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. I'd like to give a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. There's a link down below if you want to support the channel. I greatly appreciate it, as well as some cool sponsors. Also, right off the bat, Dungeon Universalis new challenges. This is the reprint and new expansion they did. Just as an FYI, 14 hours ago at the time of recording, which means by the time you get this, it's just a few short hours. So by all means, there's everything linked in the description below. Anytime you need to pause this video and click one of those and start checking something out, feel free to do that, or wait until the end and then Control F. There's gonna be a lot of links down there, so fair warning there. All right, so because it's not just what I'm covered here, I have a whole catalog of stuff there that looks awesome. Yeah, so they did quite well. 343,000. They'll probably hit maybe 350. Which is huge for them. It's definitely a passion project. Big game though. I mean, my goodness, there's a ton of stuff. So keep that in mind. We're going to keep rolling. There's a lot to go over. The Stifling Dark, a horror board game. This is one of two games I'm going to be showing actually that has a line of sight cone, which is kind of fun. It's not necessarily something normal, and in fact, it kind of reminds me of like 7th edition and previous like Warhammer 40k stuff, where you had like these templates for like how you would shoot things. That was back when like vehicles had facing armor values and whatever. You don't care about that. But either way, it's really cool to see that. And they even incorporated that in this. This is a 4v1 hidden movement game. Kind of like a lot of those video games that was really popular for a while there, right? Where you'd have like 4 survivors and one big bad guy, and you kind of have to go and fight them, whether it was a monster or a serial killer or whatever. In this case, it's kind of like a paranormal serial killer kind of looking thing. But yeah, you're just moving around and you're trying to get, you can kind of see where the general direction where these people are, the bad guy is, but you're trying to gather their clues. And once you gather all the clues, you have to pick one of 3 ways to escape and then escape, or challenge them. I don't even know what that's involved though. But they have a nice video there and some information here you can kind of take a look at. Looks fun, to be honest. I'm sure it's a blast. All right, next up we have Redwood. This is the other one that has a line of sight. This one I've heard is like X-Wing, the miniatures game, but for photography, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But you're essentially like in a park and you can kind of like move around and that's the X-Wing part, right? And then you try to line up to take these pictures, and depending on how many things you get in the picture and how nice it is, you get scored based off that. Very cool idea. It does have some minis, but it just seems rather unique in my opinion. So that's super cool that they're doing that. It is, I mean, I'm gonna count that as a round board, so keep that in mind. I know Kelpie won't back it, but that's okay. Tons of other people I'm sure will. 70,000 already, and still 20 days to go. Next up, how could I not cover Tainted, Grail, Kings of Ruin? This is kind of one of the two, not the biggest campaign right now, but definitely up there for now. Things are going to be changing here real soon. 2,600. They might even reach 2,600,000. They might even reach 3 million by the time this is done, because there's still 12 days left. That being said, they're not really adding a whole lot to it. And my understanding is there's still a little bit of ambiguity when it comes to what's exclusive here, if anything. As you can see, there's not really a lot of like exclusives stuff here. So I think a lot of people might be waiting for retail, and that might be affecting a little bit. Obviously, a sale at retail is not a lost sale for them. So, you know, either way, they're getting some money there, I suppose. But there's a big profit margin difference between buying retail versus, buying off their own website. Next up, we have Temple of Horrors 2.0. This is the only other GameFound campaign that I'm covering currently. This one is at almost 40,000. They are about $500 off of their original goal in the 1.0 version. So this was a relaunch, and they did change things, so hopefully that did actually change the number. But either way, they're almost even to that other funding goal, so that's great. And obviously a lot more backers, 461. One of those things where that initial splash actually did, I think, help them a little bit. So that's really cool to see, them doing better this time. I think that's awesome, especially with how many other campaigns there are. Fateforge Chronicles of Kaan. This is an app-driven narrative board game. Stop me if you've heard that one before. This is 5 days left to go. 146, almost $150,000 raised. This one also looks pretty neat, especially the minis. I like that. And the art style is super cool. I actually really dig that. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like not old school, but like 90s fantasy, maybe. So not like 80s fantasy, not quite that classical, but definitely reminiscent of that, like real drawn stuff, which is, I think, super nice. And again, a little bit of an odd duck, right? Like they have these boxes for the heroes, kind of reminds me of Gloomhaven, but there's not really like an unlock system that I can tell, but a lot of map tiles and heroes and stuff like that. And I mean, just a whole bunch of stuff they've been unlocking. That includes a lot of the stretch goals. The bosses or these enemies look cool. I don't know why this guy's so tall, 55 millimeters. Maybe he's like projecting like a giant or something. He's a mage or, whatever. I guess mages can do whatever they want, right? So they do have puppies, so that's good too. Anyway, not too bad. It's at $99 for kind of like the entry level, which is right there with like Tainted Grail. So it's certainly not hurting them, I think, compared to like their competitors, if that makes sense. Stormlight premium miniatures, 2.8 million, still 7 days to go, still going to raise even higher. So yeah, they're doing very, very well. This is based off Brandon Sanderson's kind of mythos, as it were, hence the Stormlight name brand on there. And all the characters and stuff are from there. And they've been unlocking a fair amount. If we scroll down to the unlocks here, the last one they had was Nail. So these designs still coming soon. I mean, this one is still a shadow. So I don't know when we're going to see that, or if they've maybe not updated the front page. Maybe that's it. $15 though for like 6 heroes, or even 15 for a large 75 millimeter pre-painted miniature for like display purposes. Actually pretty darn good. So especially for an IP thing, I think that's actually quite impressive, which is part of the reason why they have like 14,000 plus backers. Spellblades, Battle Mages, and Enchanted Objects is 28 millimeters, so D&D size. So if you're looking for minis for your D&D stuff, whether it's 3D printing STL, shout out to Gamework Create, they're linked down below. Even if you just want to get that printed off at the 3D print, you could always send the file to them. But you can, which means you can back at the cheaper tier, right, for the STLs, or you can get the physical minis, or even both. It's honestly pretty cheap. But look at the quality of these. Like, I dig this. I love the skull coming out there, and he has the tombstone as a shield. That's super cool. I really dig that. I mean, some of these armors are like really, really like look at this. I mean, there's just some real crazy stuff going on here. So I really actually dig a lot of this. This guy's adorable, the Pet Rock. I love him. Yeah, definitely cool. This is giving me Elden Ring vibes. I've killed so many pots at this point. Not even funny. Not even funny, guys. I did help get one unstuck out of the ground. He was very, very thankful. Next up, we have Ursalox Wyrm Hunter, which sounds fun. Again, physical minis or STLs, 2,188 with 19 days still to go. This guy looks super cool, though. So it's like an owlbear sort of thing, but then like wielding a weapon and roaring. These busts look fantastic. I mean, this is great. My goodness. And of course, we got some Halloween stuff as well going on. So they've actually unlocked and done quite a few things. And if you recall, I have shown Witch Song miniatures before. For instance, you can actually get this guy for free. I'll link down to that in the description below as well. Super, super cool. Reminds me a little bit of like Bloodborne and stuff. But I mean, some of these minis are just fantastic. So they do great, great stuff there. And you can get it like printed for you. Araves versus Valkyries, another 28 millimeter. Again, actually quite cheap here. I mean, we're talking like $10 for a party of the people. And if you look at this, I mean, you can kind of see just how many minis we're talking about. Quite a few different ones with different sculpts and all that. So definitely impressive. Now, I don't know the quality of these minis, so I can't comment on that, but there's certainly a lot of options there. So you've been looking for some bulk minis, whether it's to paint, whether it's for a display or a D&D campaign or anything like that. Guys, this is like a Bones campaign is what it almost feels like to me. Like, that's wild. That's crazy. Now, big stuff coming up. HeroScape Age of Annihilation. This is on pre-order for $250. Now, this is kind of interesting. I don't think they sell this well. So this is standalone, but compatible with other stuff, HeroScape. And it's one of the first things you can get for HeroScape in quite some time. So it comes with everything you see here, plus more. The terrain, all the different plants, obviously the board, and the tokens and whatnot. But the minis, they just don't show it well. Like $250 is a lot of money, right? Like $250. 40 days still to go. In that 40 days, they need to at least hit 8,000, but they have stretch goals too. But a lot of that's just scrolling down. So you're going to have to scroll a ways, and then you need to see this kind of like highlight, and you can see some of the minis. I think these renders look great, by the way. Like, they look really nice. To the point where, like, they don't even really look like renders. It looks like a real mini. I mean, they've done really well with this. Way different designs, but notice a lot of the stuff you didn't see in that picture there. So if I scroll all the way down, I mean, they even have like this all female like Valkyrie thing going on here, and then of course the terrain and whatnot. 71 miniatures, but they don't do a great job showing that, right? I mean, if they show them kind of a little bit here, but if this is the picture you see, it doesn't certainly look like a ton, you know, like a whole bunch. So, but you can see kind of closer detail on some of that stuff. Honestly, looks pretty darn neat, I think. $250, honestly, I mean, for the scale of everything, it doesn't seem that bad either, per se. And it's HeroScape. So I mean, you know, people love that stuff. But anyway, that is on Hasbro Pulse. Speaking of which, they also have the Mage of the Mirror Quest. This is the expansion to HeroQuest. They'll be coming out again, pre-order, $45. For all of this, it actually seems quite good. There's actually quite a bit here when it comes to minis, when it comes to terrain, when it comes to content, stuff like that. So that's super cool. If you haven't been subscribed or you haven't been watching, last video on last news video, I showed off a brand new HeroQuest expansion that doesn't even have a name yet that they've teased. So there's more coming. They're definitely investing in the HeroScape, HeroQuest kind of games of yesteryear, as it were, now made now a year, or whatever you want to call it, I guess. Okay, so big news here. Kaan announced their next Kickstarter, and it is Cthulhu Death May Die Season 3. I know it doesn't say Season 3 here, but on a lot of their marketing, especially on Facebook, they say Season 3 specifically, not just the next season, which they do, but they say Season 3. So this is kind of like the third season here. Fear of the unknown. We don't know a lot about it. We do fear the unknown. But it is standalone. Apparently, there are a little bit of new rules, right? New monsters, insanities, and rules in this brand new standalone Death May Die core box. I'm not calling it expansion; it's a core box. So it should be pretty big. Now, I'm positive and negative on this. I really liked Cthulhu Death May Die. It was a lot of fun, and I played it. I played every single scenario that they had, many of them multiple times. I've played a lot of Cthulhu Death May Die, which actually cools me on this a little bit, just because like I feel like I already have a lot, and I've already got a lot from the system. I don't know if I need more, and if I need more, that I need more over what I already have when it comes to spending hundreds and like is a new experience like that worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars to me? I don't know, kind of debatable. Additionally, Cthulhu Death May Die, the campaign, was actually the very first campaign where I actually yelled at Kaan. They did the kind of the fake lies around the bigature, the giant Cthulhu, where they're like, oh, we can only make 250 and it's going to take forever to make. And so they can only make so many. So then we're going to have to like come each month, and the price arbitrarily goes up by $5 each time. And it was all marketing. It was all just spin and lies and stuff to drive up people crazy. Because then eventually they did a one where anybody could back it, so there was a ton, and they delivered all of them at the same time and early, so it didn't cost them more, obviously, and it certainly didn't take them any more time to do either. So I mean, it was all just it was really dumb. I remember I was there and I was trying to back the game and I wanted it, and I kept, it would sell out like within seconds. And it was just a frustrating experience. So it's kind of the first trend towards that very manipulative style marketing. In fact, it was one of the most manipulative things they've ever done when it comes to the, the limited stuff. So hopefully we don't see that again. The trend with Dune was really good, and I really appreciated a lot of the changes when it came to the value proposition and kind of putting things a little bit more up front than they have in a while. It's a low bar to pass, but I am glad that that's a trend, and I hope that trend continues. Maybe with Cthulhu, Death May Die, Fear of the Unknown, we can get back to the roots, get back to how Kaan used to be. Wouldn't that be wonderful? With good value propositions, bombastic campaigns full of fun stuff. That's the hope anyway. I'll know when I see more. It's easier for me to see. I'm not tempted. I'm not drawn to it too much. When I haven't seen it yet, obviously, right? But I did very much enjoy the game when I backed it on the first one. In Dreams, that's coming out in 4 days, so very soon here. This is the poor man's Etherfields. Now, I say that jokingly. It's about dreams. It has pretty artwork. It's only, as they say, only $15. So I'll let you kind of, again, follow the link down in the description below, check it out, see if it's something for you. It's definitely not the same thing. It's very much more exploration and kind of story focused as opposed to any kind of like crazy card gameplay. But again, feel free to check it out for $15. It's kind of hard to go wrong. Oathsworn Into the Deepwood 2nd edition is going to be on the 18th. Now, this is going to be something like super cool. You guys definitely want to be in on this. I actually talked with Jamie a little bit about when it comes to pricing, when it comes to bundles, when it comes to what's on offer and how reprints work, and then a host of other things too. So definitely excited to see where this goes for them. But 12,362 followers, and honestly, I feel they're going to have a pretty high conversion rate on those. So I think they're definitely setting us for success. And a reprint like this, I think, really solidifies the company, which is huge. So we can see what Jamie and company come up with next. Next up, Helionox Chronicles. It's a solo cooperative campaign-based deck building board game. Love all those words. Set in the Helionox universe. I have no idea what the Helionox universe is, but I know it looks super cool based on that picture, because that's one giant man or that's a teeny tiny person. Either way, it's cool. All right, next up we have the Wanderers board game. This looks honestly like it actually reminded me a little bit of like The Last of Us, right? Just kind of like looking at it, the view a little bit. Type boss battler, dungeon crawler, survival adventure, fantasy co-op. They have checked every single box they possibly can. I think it's probably a dungeon crawler is how I would word it. A lot of dungeon crawls have boss battles in them, and so they're putting boss battler there, but I don't think it's a true boss battler. But look at this mini here. That is like super cool. It says 10 gorgeous miniatures of beasts, 6 playable survivor miniatures, 24 wolves miniatures. Look at all the wolves you get, guys. 24 wolves, tons and tons of wolves. So yeah, this is all linked down below. You can check it out, of course. Now we also have more Spirit Island. This is going to be massive. From my understanding, there's a lot of love for Spirit Island. Even if, is it a toy? Is it, what kind of experience is it? It doesn't matter if it's fun, right? And so this is going to be big as well. 15,000, almost 16,000 already signed up on this backer kit preview landing page. It's called Nature Incarnate, and that is a Turtle Mountain, which just screams Final Fantasy 15 to me, from that one world boss that's optional. But, if they want to do that too, that's fine by me. All right, next up we have Warcrow Adventures. This is by Corpus Belli. They are famous for their Infinity stuff, but they've also done like the Tag Raid game, and now they were doing Warcrow. It does have a companion app. It's a narrative app-driven dungeon crawler. Again, stop me if you've heard that one before. Based in the new fantasy universe of Corvus Belli. Let's take a quick look at that universe, by the way. I had the option of playing Warcrow or Infinity, and my wife was a little bit more inclined to look at the Infinity stuff because we really like kind of tabletop skirmish games like Warhammer, and so we went and actually played that instead. I didn't have enough time to do both, sadly, at Gen Con. Next year I'll try not to miss the first day. But anyway, it definitely looked cool on the table, and I would love to try it. Actually, it looks pretty neat. Look at some of these minis though. I mean, they are great. They look super cool. I love the design on all these. I'll show you a real picture of some of these. But like, I really do like them. And I think the plastic is going to be sufficient enough to not worry too much about like super skinny parts like this, but we will see. Here's kind of a picture of a prototype 3D printed resin miniatures is what those are. So just as an FYI, but you can kind of see the map tiles. Honestly, it looks very, very dreary to me, very plain. There's not a lot of contrast. It's more like browns and grays and lots of it. At least this picture, maybe that changes. You see a little bit of the app there. Looks like there's a host of options like attack as like actions, but let's attack like multiple times there. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, but I guess we will find out more soon. Or I think there are some content creators who've had their hands on. They could also tell you about it. Heroes of Might and Magic 3, the board game. This will be coming here soon as well. It is a tight fit to get a review out for you guys, but I will do my best. In the meantime, I've been playing the video game. Last I saw on GOG.com, it was $2.50 for the ultimate package. So if you want to brush up on Heroes of Might and Magic 3, or if you haven't played the expansions, or if you just want it again and it's $2.50, you have at it. I'll link to that down in the description below. I showed this off actually in my last news video as well. So we kind of went over a lot of this. Looks very cool for sure. So we will see that in action here very soon in November. Now we also have Homeworld Fleet Command. This is a reminder. Again, I covered this once before, I think, but that's it. This is by Modifius, and they are bringing in a ton of stuff. This is also in November. And this is going to be massive. You have 101 plastic ships in the base game, and you can include multiple base games to have an ultimate space battle. So imagine having hundreds of ships fighting. If you want to do that like Armageddon style Warhammer stuff, get away in a cabin somewhere for a few days, you can do that, which is super cool. I think that very speaks to the Homeworld franchise. And of course you get the very cool motherships. That's awesome as well. And then finally, guys, tell me more. Okay. Square Enix, Final Fantasy VII Remake original board game coming soon. This is the only picture I have. I've asked questions. If you are at Essen, please do me a favor and find out more about this and let me know. Let us know. I will share the news, and you're doing me a solid there, whatever the heck that means. Seriously, I could really use some more information on this. Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy VII the original, both are one of my daughter's absolute favorite games, and I would love to get something like this for her. I actually just recently bought the Final Fantasy trading card game for her birthday, so we're excited to be playing that, and it's cool. It's super cool. I'm super excited, and I want to know more. I think one of my patrons joked that you're actually it's a worker placement at the Golden Saucer. I'll take what I can get, okay? But please don't be that. But if it has minis, I'm gone. I'm gone. That's it. It's over. It's over. It's done. So yeah, I'll let you know when I know. All right. How about that, guys? That is only it so far. There is so much more coming. We're still expecting a Senko Kushin update towards the end of the year. We're still expecting a whole host of new stuff coming in still, of some, nice surprises. I mean, Death May Die we didn't even know about until today at the time of recording. So like, seriously, this stuff is coming in hot, and it's just going to get hotter. So stay tuned for a lot more news, especially as we round out the end of this year. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful day. Take care.